Hello, everyone. Welcome to PJ Yoga with TJ. Today's class is a slow flow, and our mindfulness word is delight. And I'm going to be using that word for a couple, 3 weeks because I'm subbing for a friend of mine, and instead of trying a new word for each kind of class that I'm doing, I'm just using the same word because I have a slow flow, I have a chair yoga, and then a restorative yoga class. So I like this word a lot too. Instead of trying to draw a new word each week. So you're going to get a chair class for those that want to have one of those back. And then a restorative class will be coming soon to the channel too. Anyway, delight. An approach of childlike innocence and freshness. Bring pleasure and enchantment to each relationship, event, and task of everyday life. So if we do that, you're going to have fun. And I hope you have fun in this class. I've had fun teaching it all week, so I hope you enjoy it. What you need to bring to the mat is a bolster if you want to do Shavasana, a blanket if you need one for your knees when we're in tabletop or low lunge. You might want to have a blanket for your knees. And if you want to block, when we're doing sun salutation, maybe you can't reach all the way to the floor. Those are options. You don't have to have any of these. You can do this class without any props, but it does make it nice. And my focus for the class is for beginners, intermediate, senior citizens. These are all good poses for you. If you're advanced, it might not be your cup of tea, so to speak, but you're welcome to join it. And we're going to do tapping today. I'm really excited. Everyone has really enjoyed the tapping. Tapping is, we've done a little bit. We're going to do a full body tap in this class because I think I mentioned that last week that we might put that in there because that's such a delight to do tapping on yourself. And so that helps to release anxiety and tension. So you can use it at any time. If you're feeling anxious or tense, or you've had a lot of events, or maybe been driving and so your neck is tense, you can do some tapping at any point and on any part of your body, wherever you feel it. Maybe you have a sinus headache, so tap your head up there. I actually had a lady this week, she said her ears were so plugged up she couldn't hear, and we did tapping. Of course, we did the whole head and the sinus, and her head opened up, so she was very excited. So I hope it helps you too. And also, what tapping does, and we will focus on a lot of the lymph areas in our body, is it helps to stimulate your lymph nodes, which of course helps you to fight off infections. So it helps your immune system, and it brings blood flow to wherever you're tapping to the surface. So I tap almost every day on my face, either at some point in the day or before I go to bed, because it's like a little facial, and it helps to keep your face with that youthful glow. I hope. Yeah. I think I look better when I tap than when I don't. So you can do your own free facials at home with just your fingers. So here we go. We're going to get started. And I'm going to move my chair out of the way. We don't need it until later. I might bring it up here so I can put my paper on it. And I strongly suggest that you join me for Shavasana. I got to take my socks off too. Because Shavasana is, I think, one of the most important poses that we do. Just because it puts the whole class together at the end. I gotta scoot this back a little bit. So we're going to begin in our Tadasana pose. Yeah, you can see my head now. I have to get to the very back. Yeah, and And I'm just going to kind of get acclimated here to the camera. I might make it a tiny bit of an adjustment. I think that'll be better. Oh yeah, that's better. So I'm going to try this too. I think that's better. It was so bright it was kind of blurring me out, so we'll do that. I think that's better. Here we go. We're going to inhale up. I just like to take a minute to think, why am I on the mat? This is actually my third class that I will be teaching today. I said, well, I'm in the mood. I might as well just stream this one while it's on my mind and fresh in my mind. So let's take another inhale up and just kind of pause at the top. Do a little crescent pose, which feels really nice, and exhale that down. One more. Inhale up. And exhale down. And then we're going to do some toe raises and heel raises. So I guess this is the heel raise because I'm raising my heel up and then my toes up. We're just going to rock back and forth. Try to do, maybe I would say 15 to 20. We're waking up our ankles, strengthening them, which will help with your balance and walking. I think I've done about 8. I'll count 9, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And you should have really felt that through the ankle and the lower calf muscle. And let's shake our leg out, shake our arms out. And then we're going to take the big toe and point it up. It's on the mat. And then I'm going to roll my foot around the outside of my foot and then to the inside. I'm going to do 3 of these rolls and then I'm going to reverse. 1, 2, 3, and then reverse. 1, 2, 3, and then other side, left side for me. I don't know if you started on the right or not. So up on my toe, roll it around all the outside edges of the foot. 2, 3, and I did 4. Oh well. Okay, reverse. 1, 2, 3, and 4. We did 1 more on the left. That's all right. Oh, I can't do it. We have to do 1 more on each side. 4. There we go. Now I'm going to just do some shoulder shrugs up, inhale up. I'm going to try 1 more light situation. And then shrug down. Oh, I think that's better. Yeah, it was a little dark. That's much better. So shrug up and down. It depends on what time of the day that I film. Sometimes it's in the daytime, it's really bright, but it's been a little overcast here and it's getting later in the evening. So shrug up. And then we're going to release it with a big Let's do it 1 more time. Inhale up. Really tight. Get those shoulders like you have no neck. And we're going to release it with a ah. Ah. I love doing that. It's so freeing. It's so delightful. There's our word, delight. One more time, shrug up. And oh, that was nice. Let's do some shoulder rolls back. Just simple shoulder rolls. We're just lubricating our joints. As the saying goes, motion is lotion to your joints. So the more you move them around, the easier they move around. It's like putting lotion on your dry skin, oil in your car. I'm just kind of moving wherever my elbows, my shoulders, my knees, just wild moves right now. Have fun with it. Get that childlike spirit. Mwah. Let's do a little hula hoop. Hula hoop. Now I'm congested. I don't know why. Well, I was outside in the flower beds for a little bit. It's so hot here today. And reverse. Hula hoop. We're doing the hula hula. And we're going to be doing some poses. Go ahead and bring that to stillness. That with the head below the heart, we're going to do a lot of some forward folds. We're going to do ragdoll. And if you have high blood pressure, remember, do not keep your head below your heart for any length of time, if at all. I tell people this in the classes, and some are like, oh, I'm okay. And then sometimes they start getting dizzy. And I'm like, that's why you're not supposed to have your head below your heart. If you have high blood pressure, it could raise your blood pressure up. So when we do ragdoll, this is what you can do instead. And I'll remind you, windshield or washing machine. And you can just, because we're going to be standing and you're still getting some of the twist. This is one of my favorite poses. I love doing this pose too. And if you let the hands come back and just gently tap right below your rib there, which was where mine come naturally. If you have longer arms, maybe they don't. But you're doing a little bit of kidney adrenal stimulation. So that's always good to stimulate your kidneys and adrenals. And then you can just start bringing that to stillness. Now we're going to do a side stretch. So we're going to inhale the left arm up and exhale as you bend over to the right side. My right hand's just coming down as far as it can to the side. Inhale up, exhale over to the left, just stretching. Inhale up. We can do some gentle twists, so this is a good preparation for that. Exhale over. This will be our last time. Inhale up. Exhale over. Oh, that feels good. And then come back to center. Take your hands in prayer position and your feet wider than hip width apart. You can see mine are out here. Hip width apart would be where my fingers are pointing down, because we're going to do a simple twist. So we're just going to twist our upper body, our torso, to the right. Keep your knees and your hips facing as forward as possible. And inhale, exhale to the left. Just hold it here. Breathe normally. Doing inhales through the center, exhaling to the right. Should feel nice. Inhale through the center, exhale to the left. Ooh. And inhale. That felt great. Okay, for our next pose, come back to the back end of your mat, facing the short end. The long ends are on the sides. We're going to inhale up and exhale over into forward fold. This is, if you need a block here, this would be the place to use it. I'm pretty stretched out from my classes today, so I'm not going to use a block. Sometimes I do. If I do these in the morning, I usually use a block because I'm not quite as stretchable in the mornings. I have to work up to it. And if you have high blood pressure, don't stay down here. You should stay up here and halfway up with your back straight and your head level with your heart. So those are your options. So inhale halfway up, everyone. Exhale, bending your knees generously, and inhale up. Exhale, forward fold, or high blood pressure, stay here. The rest of us can come all the way down. Inhale halfway up. Bend your knees, exhale, come up. One more time. Inhale, exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Bend your knees generously, and exhale, coming up. Now we're going to do that, and we're going to come into down dog. So inhale up. Exhale, forward fold, swan dive over. Walk your hands forward into your down dog. And for this down dog, we're not going to paddle our feet or anything. We're going to let our head relax. Again, if you have high blood pressure, avoid downward dog. You can come down to the mat and just do legs straight up in the air. So, down dog, my head is comfortably resting in between my arms. And then I want you to take and just push your tailbone towards the ceiling, which should really give you a stretch through those hamstrings and your downward dog. You may have to be up on your toes, depending on how tight your hamstrings are. And then we're going to exhale and roll over into plank. Everybody in plank. We're going to come down to half plank, so come to your knees. And then we're going to come down into chaturanga. We're going to come down, keep your elbows in, hold it, and then lower all the way down. If you can't do that right now, keep practicing, and someday you'll just be like, wow, I can actually hold it now in chaturanga. It took me a long time to be able to hold it. Let's get our hands in a sphinx position. So they're up here in front of us. Our elbows are under our shoulders. And I'm just raising my head up. And then I'm going to just kind of pull myself forward. And then release. This is a nice low back release. Pull forward. One of my favorite poses. I'll probably do it in every class because I like it so much. And release. And one more time, pull. And release. Oh, that felt really good. Now I'm going to lay my torso down and bring my hands back here so that my hands are now even with my breastbone. I'm going to curl my toes under. I'm going to inhale and I'm going to exhale up into, keep the feet straight first, into upward dog. I got ahead of myself. So we're in upward dog. Now we're going to curl our toes under and roll back into a child's pose. Inhale up into tabletop. And wrists are below shoulders. Spread your fingers as wide as possible and press your fingertips into the mat to relieve the pressure in your mat, in your hand. And I'm gonna move up a little bit. If you're at the back of your mat, you might want to move up just a little bit. We're gonna do a few cat-cow. So let's inhale up. Exhale, cow. Inhale, cat. Exhale, cow. Inhale, cat. And exhale, cow. Just some nice, easy flows. We turn the back to neutral. Do a nice inhale and exhale the right foot back with the toes curled under. Just straight back. And then we're going to do a calf stretch. So I'm going to just gently push myself back so that my toes are really curled under, and I'm putting a little pressure. You should feel a nice calf stretch. Don't overdo it. Just stretch till it feels good. If you're very tight, you won't go very far. And then release that. Inhale, press those fingertips in. Exhale, stretch your calf. Because we're going to be up here for a little bit, so I want you to keep your wrist safe. Release. Exhale, push back. It's just a little push, not too much. And release. Inhale the right leg up. Exhale it over behind you to the left. And then swing your hips. Push your hips to the right and swing your head around to the left to look at your toes. You can wiggle them if you want. Wave high with them. Just doing a little stretch. Inhale that leg back to your, even with your other leg, and you can sit up. And let's do a few wrist rotations. I should feel pretty sore there. And if at any time you need to come out of the pose, of course, come out of it and rest your wrist, do some shakes on them, do a child's pose, whatever you need to do to let them feel good. And if you have wrist issues, you could do some of these on your forearms to take that pressure off. Okay, here we go. We're going to inhale back up into tabletop. We're going to exhale the right foot up in front of you between your hands. Walk it out a little bit. Spread it out. Bend that knee. Stretch out the left leg. Bend the right knee over the right ankle into low lunge. Go up to your fingertips to get your balance. And then when you feel balanced and ready, we're going to inhale up into low lunge with the hands up. And then we're going to just relax for a moment. Ooh. We're going to inhale and really exhale, trying to push the hands up as high as you can and dropping that torso straight down. If you can do it. If you can't, just stay in the low lunge. We're just doing a little extra stretch here. Inhale up, place the hands back on the mat. Curl the left toes under and lift the left leg up off of the mat. I got to turn this way. Or I'm not facing you. So we're up here in high lunge. When you feel ready, get your left leg positioned so that you have good stability. And mine is pointed at about a 45-degree angle. And I'm going to inhale my arms up, keeping this knee bent over the leg through this whole next flow. So we're up here in high lunge. You should really feel those quads working on that right side and the stretch going on the left. So we're going to inhale into a crescent. And we're going to exhale over at an angle with your arms straight back, like we're a rocket shooting up into the sky. Inhale up, knee stays bent. Exhale to crescent. We're going to do this one more time after this one. Exhale, rocket. Last one, inhale, crescent. Your leg should be screaming. Mine is. Exhale, rocket. See how I keep the torso? It's like I'm a bullet shooting up. And then come up. You can straighten that leg. Bring the left leg even with the right and shake it out. Woo! I forgot our other pose. We're going to get back into it. Sorry about that. I just wanted to come out of it, which is good. Good to come out of it. Just kind of let your leg relax a minute. So I'm going to inhale up. And I'm going to exhale and step back again into my high lunge. And I'm going to inhale and exhale over, placing both of my hands back on the mat. My right hand is going to stay planted on the mat, and I'm going to come into a simple side twist. So you're going to inhale the left hand straight up in the air. Try to get your arms as straight aligned as possible, and your back is straight. Your right leg is bent, your left leg is straight at an angle, but straight. I'm going to exhale that down. This time I'm going to walk my right leg back to meet the left and end up back in down dog. And exhale over into plank. Now we're going to try to do it on the other side. Lower the knees for half plank. And exhale as you come into chaturanga, holding it up a few inches. Hold it, and then release all the way down into your Sphinx. And I'm going to flip around to the other side so that I can still be facing the camera when we do the poses on this side. So you get to rest in Sphinx. I have to spin around like, I guess, the Three Stooges, how they used to spin around. Hopefully I don't look that stupid, but spinning around, it can be fun. And now we're going to really bask in our Sphinx pose for a couple of seconds. Catch our breath. Think about what we just did. You did a lot of hard poses, strengthening and stretching. And now we're going to inhale and exhale, lowering the torso, bringing the hands back and the feet up into locust pose. Excellent pose for digestion and strengthening the back. We want to have that Nice posture. A few inhales and exhales here. On your next exhale, bring the right hand underneath the forehead and the left hand covers it. And then rest your forehead on top of your hands into crocodile pose. Crocodile pose makes such a good transition pose from something hard where you need a little break. Inhale. And exhale as you bring your arms back behind you and your legs up for another locust pose. Whew, I'm starting to sweat and the air conditioner is running. I shouldn't be sweating. Couple of breaths. I'm not holding it very long. Inhale and exhale the left hand now down on the mat first. Right hand covers it for your second crocodile pose. Really think about what you've done and accomplished. We're halfway done with the class. It just gets better. You know, when we get halfway done, then another quarter of the way and we start our cool down and our wonderful Shavasana pose. And I'm going to inhale and exhale the hands back to even with my breastbone. Curl my toes under and come up into tabletop. I'm going to move up here to the top of the mat because we're going to do all this on the left side now. So really spread those fingers to protect your wrist. Dig the fingertips into the mat. And we're going to do a couple of cat-cows. So inhale up into cat. Exhale, cow. Inhale, cat. Exhale, cow. Cat-cow is a really good pose for the whole spine for flexibility. Inhale one more time, cat. And exhale, cow. And then inhale to neutral. It means with the back straight. See that you're pressing your fingertips in. We're going to inhale and exhale the left leg straight back, toes curled under, and then give it a little push to the back. I'm just like pushing my whole body back with my arms. So doing a little bit of an arm strength here too. And release that. Inhale. Exhale. Push back. Should feel a good stretch through that calf muscle. If you're a runner or a walker or a hiker, or you have plantar fasciitis, this would be a really good pose for you to do daily. And release. One more time. Inhale. Exhale back. Inhale. Up. Exhale the left foot to the right. Pushing my left hip to the left, and I'm looking my head around to the right over my shoulder like we do when we do the C curve. I think this pose looks very elegant and graceful. It does a lot of stuff for you. We got a little twist going on, side twist, a little stretch on the leg, some arm strength happening. There's a lot going on with this pose. And then inhale back to neutral. Sit up. And we're going to shake our wrist out. And then we're going to start our low lunge, high lunge flow. I really like how that flows together, and doing rocket is kind of fun. I like that one because it is close to the 4th of July. Well, I think this class will post after the 4th of July, but there'll probably still be some fireworks going on like they always do for about a week afterwards. And then we're going to inhale back into tabletop and exhale the left foot up in between the hands. It's a lot easier to come to low lunge from this position than it is when you're in down dog, I've discovered. And I'm just going to scoot my left leg back because I'm pretty flexible and I want to get a nice stretch through that right quad. I don't want it to feel cheated. So here we are. I'm on my fingertips, hands beside, or my foot's in the middle of both of my hands. And then when you're ready and you're balanced and you feel that you can use your leg strength to raise up, also some core strength in there, come up into low lunge. And you can stay here, or you can do that inhale, reaching the arms up higher. Oh, I've lost my balance, my focus. Shouldn't look sideways. I'm trying to see how I look over there. And then as you exhale, lower just a little bit into that quad. Should feel a nice stretch. Inhale up. And my knee is staying in basically the same position. Exhale, lower. Inhale up. Exhale, lower. Bring your hands down. You're going to have to straighten the leg a little bit, the left leg. Curl your toes under, the right toes. Lift up that right leg and get your right foot at a nice angle so that your toes and your ankle and your knee is pointing in the same direction. I'm going to have to bring this up a little bit here. We're going to come up into our high lunge. When you're ready, inhale up, or you can stay down there. Ooh, high lunge. If you were in class, I'd say, looking good. But you're not in my class, but I'm going to say anyway, you're looking good. You know what? I forgot to do our tapping. We're going to have to do our tapping here in a minute. We're supposed to do it right after we did our Tadasana warm-ups. And we're going to inhale crescent and exhale rocket. Rocket man, rocket woman, rocket person. Inhale up, crescent. Keep the knee bent. Exhale, rocket. That really is, my leg is burning. Inhale up, crescent. I think my quad's going to be sore tomorrow. Exhale, rocket. You don't want to come down too far. You want to be straight from your leg to your head. It's a pretty pose too. Inhale up. And then we're going to exhale our both of our hands down just to get acclimated. And leave your left palm on the mat and inhale the right hand up into the air. Nice side twist. Simple side twist. And I'm just doing a few breaths here. And my leg is screaming, please be finished. And exhale the right hand down. Bring the left leg back to meet the right into your down dog, and we're going to walk our dog out. That feels good. Walk that dog out. Walk the dog. Walk the dog. And then inhale down to tabletop and back into child's pose. I got to see if I've left anything else out. I don't think I have. I just left out my favorite thing of tapping after I've had the big intro do it, and then we didn't do it. But we can do it anytime in the class. It doesn't matter. I left it out once before this week. No one suffered. Oh, we didn't do puppy dog pose. I think we'll do puppy dog pose just because it feels good. I want puppy dog pose. And then we'll come up and do our tapping. So from tabletop, let's I'm gonna come back here a little bit. See where your fingertips are, and then take your palm, the back of your the bottom of your palm, and place it about an inch or 2 inches of where your fingertips were just at. Curl your toes under, and then we're going to exhale and come down so that our forehead comes down to the mat. And you can stay here with the arms bent, or if you want to do a challenge, you can stretch the hands straight out into our puppy dog pose. I think you can probably see why it's called puppy dog pose. This is one of their favorite positions when they're playing. And they usually do a little wiggle. I love watching dogs that are all happy and wiggly. And we're going to inhale. Bring your arms up. Curl your toes under. And come up into Tadasana again. Now we're going to tap. We're going to tap the whole body, because I definitely want to get the tapping in. Then we're going to go down to the floor. This will be great to end it with a tapping session because it's really relaxing. I think you'll really, really like it. And we're going to start tapping using your fingertips on your, just tap on your toes and the top of your feet. It's just a light tapping, and then go around the ankles. The ankles has a lot of lymph nodes around it. And if you want, you can raise one foot up and tap underneath it. Raise the other one up. Tap the bottom of your feet. And then just come all the way up. I'm going to come up the inside of my knee, go around to the outside and go down. Go to the back, come to the front, go down the front, come back to the outside, and work my way all the way up the thigh. Woo. And around the groin, all around that groin area. Just tap away, tap, tap, tap. And then I'm going to come down the inside of my thighs, back around the groin. The groin has many, many lymph nodes. If you feel sick, you can start tapping away around the groin area, around the armpit. We're going to tap the armpits too. And around the neck area, around the ankles, the wrist. I'm really tapping that groin area very well. Now we'll come around to the buttocks, tap that. And today in class, I had everybody get a partner and we tapped each other's back. That felt wonderful. If you're doing this with someone at home, we'll go ahead and do that if you want. We're going to do the back in a minute. So I want you to come up here right above where the ribs are. I'm going to start tapping up here at the top on the left side and go all around underneath the right rib. Go down to the hip bone, around through the pubic bone, up by the hip bone, all the way up to the ribs again. We're going to circle that 2 more times. So here's one more. This is all for the internal organs. Last circle around. And we want to go clockwise because that's how the colon moves. If you have some constipation, spend some time down here because that's where it gets hung up a lot. And we're going to bring that to stillness. Oh, we're going to work our way up to the middle of the chest bone and tap all around here in this pectoral section. There's a lot of lymph nodes in there. Just tapping all around. And now I'm going to have to use one hand and come over here and raise up my arm high and get into all of this wonderful lymphatic section under the armpits. Have you ever been sick and your armpit swells up or like right around in here? That's your lymphatics, your lymph nodes, because it's fighting off bacteria and infections. Now let's go down to the inside of the arm, down to the wrist, the fingers. Come back up. Turn your arm over. Go to the outside or the top of the arm. All down to the fingertips, all the way up. Around your shoulder. And this is where, if you have a partner, they can tap your back. I had a suggestion because I have a couple of single people in my class that if you have a hairbrush, you can actually kind of tap your back with a hairbrush and reach down a little further. I can't. This is as far as I can go, and then I have to go back this way. So if you have a partner or somebody you're doing this with, this would be a wonderful addition. Now I'm going to start tapping with just my left hand and make my way over here to the right armpit. I don't want it to get left out. All the way around. Tap, 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 tap. Feels good. Really tapping. When we finish, you might even feel kind of like your skin is tingling. Feels a little kind of like a vibration because that's all that blood flow coming to the surface of the skin. And now let's go to the inside of the arm. Back up. Go around the shoulder to the outside of the arm, around that elbow. I have a bony elbow. All the way down the wrist, top of the hand, the fingers. Back up. Get both hands going again, and we're going to come up to the ear area. And go right behind the ears. A lot of lymph nodes in there. Tap down the side of the neck. Come up to the chin, tap down the neck. Right here to your breastbone. This really stimulates your thymus gland, which is great for your immune system. Go back up. All along that jawline. That gets so tight. If you have TMJ or clench your teeth at night or grind, you should do this every morning and every night to relax those muscles. Come up around the eyebrows, the eye sockets. And here I have to use one finger for my nose because it doesn't fit on there. And just kind of go follow that. I always tell people I'm tapping my wrinkles away, but it hasn't worked yet. Do the whole forehead. And now the top of the head. Really, really tap that top of the head. Might help stimulate some hair growth. And it feels so good. If you're really tired, like in the afternoon, if you tap your head, it can really perk you up. It's better than a cup of coffee or eating something sweet. And then let's bring that to stillness. And let's just slough off all of that negative energy that we tapped out and the sickness. Just throwing it away. Woo! Cleansing my body. Ah, that felt good. Now, just close your eyes down for a second, and do you feel that kind of bubbly, tingling sensation? I feel it all over my body. It feels really good. And if you didn't, maybe tap a little harder next time. So here we go. We're going to inhale up and exhale over. Bend your knees very generously. I'm going to add a little squat here just for good measure for that whole digestive system since we tapped it out. Just take a couple of breaths here. If this pose is not for you, just come down into a restorative rest pose because that's where we're heading next. And then when you're ready, I'm going to lean forward, bring my knees down, and lay back into a restorative rest pose. And I like to, anytime I come from standing to laying on the mat, I like to just give it a few seconds to kind of ground down into it, see what feels good. Where do I want my feet exactly? We're going to do a side twist here in a minute. So let's start by inhaling the right knee up to a 45-degree angle, and then exhale and pull that knee into your chest. And this time we usually do it with the breath, but we're just going to hold it here for a couple of breaths. And then I want you to release the knee with your hands. We're going to inhale the right hand over to the right side in a T. And we're going to exhale the left hand to the outside of the right leg. And then we're going to stay here for a second. Keep the left leg. Well, actually, we're going to lower the left leg down. So go ahead and lower that left leg straight out. Do a nice inhale and exhale as you let that whole right leg fall across the body onto the floor, or maybe it's hanging up here. My hips are completely off the mat. I'm trying to keep my shoulder as close to the mat as possible, but it is actually up a little bit. And I'm resting my left hand on the outside of my right thigh, which adds a little bit of grounding sensation, a little bit of weight to that leg, which keeps it from floating up in the air. Do not push your leg over, just let the weight of your hand be your guide. And we're going to inhale. We're going to exhale the left hand to the inside of the right thigh, and we're going to give that right thigh a push with our hand up, which is a nice way to come out without hurting your back. Inhale the left leg up. Inhale the knee to chest. Just a few rounds of breath here. We'll do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to release my knee. Inhale my right hand on the outside of my left leg, my left hand straight out, and lower my right leg down. Do a nice inhale and exhale as you let that left leg fall over to the right side. And you can keep your head, it can be looking to the left, to the middle, or if you want to add an extra layer of stretch, you can look to the left for the next stretch. And I'm just resting my hand on my left thigh, on the outside of my left thigh. When I lift it up, my leg comes up a little bit, so I'm just keeping it weighted down. Just for a few breaths, you should feel a nice twist in that back and through the midsection. Do a good inhale, and then bring the right hand to the inside of the left thigh, and exhale, bringing that leg up. Place both feet back up on the mat into restorative rest pose. Check my time. We have time for it, so let's walk our feet out just a little bit, as wide as your mat, and then let the left knee come to the right. Keep your hips on the mat, and the right knee is just the knee movement. We're not trying to roll our backs over. This will give a little bit of a reprieve from that twist that we just did for that low back. I'll put it back in the right position. And I thought the dog fell down the steps. He was kind of limping this morning. And then he got better. And then bring both knees back up to center. Bring your hip back into hip width apart. And pull your feet in as close to your buttocks as you can. And we're going to lift up for a bridge pose. Really lift up. And then on your next exhale, just come down very slowly. And stretch out for Shavasana. I am going to put my bolster underneath my knees. That's where I like it best. And I brought my blanket. I was sweating, but since I was sweating, I will probably cool down and then get chilly. This way it covers me. Tuck my feet in so they stay warm. And I'm going to lay back. And I forgot bring my phone up here so I can set the timer. Got my eye mask. I should say gather all of your supplies for Shavasana. However you like your Shavasana. I've got all my favorite tools and props out for that. Get those feet covered back up again. Pull my little neck stand up. And I am going to lead you through a 4-count breath, just the simple breath. Might have done it last week. I can't remember. I'm doing so many classes now. And you're going to breathe in the nose and out the nose for 4 counts each way. And then I will meet you back here in about 10 to 12 minutes for our namaste. We'll go through 5 rounds of that breathing. Here we go. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. 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 And relax. While you're doing your Shavasana, think about our mindful word of delight and what can you do this week, today, that could bring some real delight to your heart or some delight to somebody else's heart. Maybe it's a phone call to your mom or dad that you haven't talked to for a while, or reading a special bedtime story to a child. Maybe it's one of your favorite meals, or maybe it's just sitting out and listening to the birds sing. Just think about what can bring some true delight to your heart as you think about your word this week. you feel ready, start taking some last minute stretches, maybe a couple of breaths. I was just basking in the quiet stillness that I achieved in my Shavasana tonight. I think it's the tapping at the end really relaxed me. So think about what poses brought you delight to your soul, mind, body, spirit. Which ones not so much that you maybe just need to practice more? Gosh, I was so relaxed I forgot how to play my tune. So I was a little off. So when you're ready, roll over onto your side and stay in that fetal position for just a few breaths, maybe 3 to 5 breaths. And then you're ready from there. Push yourself up slowly, bringing your head up last. And I'll join you up here for our last quote that goes along with the class, and I'll be reading it for our chair and restorative for those classes coming up also. So hope you don't get tired of it. It's a good quote. I usually forget the quotes after a while, so maybe I'll remember this one if I repeat it enough. Laugh a lot, hate less, love much, and enjoy every moment. So try to do that for the next several hours, or if this is bedtime for you, for the next day. Think about that in the morning when you get up. And then the quote is from a site called brightside.me, and it is, a happy person is one who delights in everything and envies no one. And I really thought about that quote when I found it, that if you just did that one thing, oh, how much happier would your life be? To envy no one, have that delight in your heart. Let's take our hands and rub them together briskly. And sitting up nice and straight. You might be in easy pose, or you may have just stayed down on the mat, and that's good too. Let's press that into our heart center, bringing love, joy, and delight into our hearts. And I bow and honor the delight in you and ask that you honor the delight in others. Namaste. I like saying in delight. We have the delight on our side after this. Thank you so much for coming. And we'll be back here the next week with a chair class, chair yoga, for those that it's difficult to get up and down on the floor. Ta-ta for now.